Zion Williamson is better than anyone thought. He was the first overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft. He was the AP Player of the Year in college basketball by a landslide. Zion Williamson sat out the first 44 games of his NBA career due to knee injuries that have sidelined him more than a couple of times throughout his career. Yet still, after making his NBA debut against the San Antonio Spurs, players, coaches, analysts, and fans all around the league shut their mouth. Zion Williamson was the real deal, and he proved it with 22 points in 18 minutes of action in his first game. The jokes about his weight were over. Zion Williamson was already the real deal. Keep watching to see why Zion Williamson is better than anyone thought. Mike Greenberg. It wasn't like Zion Williamson wasn't supposed to be good. He came into the NBA with plenty of hype. He was the #1 overall pick, coming out of Duke as the National Player of the Year as a freshman. Yet, he still exceeded expectations. After missing the first 44 games for the New Orleans Pelicans due to surgery on his right knee, Williamson literally dominated in a grown man league. After 2 straight games over 30 points, the hype was real. ESPN's Mike Greenberg talked about Williamson's performance and his potential place in history on the ESPN show Get Up. "He is better than advertised," Greenberg said. "If this kid, who doesn't turn 20 until July, stays healthy, he is well on his way to being one of the best and one of the most unique players this league has seen in a very long time." At the time of that comment, Zion was scoring 22.1 points per game, along with 7.5 rebounds and 2.2 assists through 10 games, shooting 57.6% from the field. Ja Morant is more likely the Rookie of the Year, but there's even legitimate talk now about Zion winning the award after missing 44 games. Even after missing months of basketball, Zion came into the NBA and dominated like he'd been there before. During the show, Greenberg cited stats from Second Spectrum, showing that Williamson's post-ups are the single most efficient play in the NBA in his first 10 games. If the trends were to continue, he would lead the league in points per touch. The difference in New Orleans' scoring margin with Williamson on the court versus off was mind-boggling. When Zion went through the pre-draft process, scouts were concerned with his frame and if it would fit today's game. Williamson is 6'7" and isn't quite known for his shooting yet. At 6'7", he would be an undersized power forward. It took a real man to admit that they never should have had reservations on how Zion would fit into the NBA. "Watching him in college, I thought he was a player without a position in the NBA," Greenberg said. "I never thought the way he overwhelmed college competition would make this jump with him, but the numbers in my eyes tell me now I could not have been further from right." Zion's weakness will certainly be his durability. He needs to be able to stay healthy. He's holding a ton of weight and already missed more than 44 games during his rookie season. His knees could be a problem moving forward. Williamson missed 5 games for Duke last season with a right knee sprain, and missed most of the NBA Summer League with a bruised left knee. None of that takes away from how great he's been when on the court. A Blake Griffin upgrade. When Zion made his NBA debut, 44 games late, it became the most highly anticipated regular season game in quite some time. Zion made his debut for the New Orleans Pelicans against the San Antonio Spurs, 3 months after surgery to repair a torn lateral meniscus in his right knee. Zion was fun, but he was fantastic in the fourth quarter. Zion scored 17 straight points in the fourth quarter on 6 of 8 shooting, including 4 for 4 from 3. This was the player that people criticized for not being able to shoot the ball. He became the first player in NBA history to make more than 3 3-pointers without a miss in his NBA debut, per Basketball Reference. What a game it was for Zion. He finished with 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists in 18 minutes. Yes, 18 minutes. This game proved that Zion was going to be a freak athlete, a Blake Griffin upgrade. His combination of skill, strength, and vertical has him being compared to Charles Barkley and Larry Johnson, with a little bit of Bo Jackson. But it was clear after this game, he was a better version of prime Blake Griffin. Sadly, they've both faced knee problems, and Griffin hasn't been able to be himself throughout his career. When Griffin came into the league, he suffered a sprained MCL in his freshman season with Oklahoma in one knee, and then a couple months later, he tore his meniscus in his other knee, where he needed arthroscopic surgery to remove the torn cartilage. That sounds like Zion Williamson's life. The difference was that Blake played less than a week after surgery. Zion played it carefully. In a 2013 interview about Derrick Rose's torn meniscus, Griffin said that, under the watch of the Oklahoma Sooners, he had surgery on Sunday and played on Saturday. The Pelicans have been very careful with Zion in the hopes that he'll be durable enough to become a franchise superstar after Anthony Davis left the team. The Pelicans even attempted to reprogram how Williamson moves around on the floor and protect him as much as possible from serious injury. In order to let Zion play after surgery, he needed to reach a series of biomechanical benchmarks in order to get cleared to play. Charles Barkley mocked this on TNT, but Zion actually said that his body felt a lot better throughout his recovery when he was a guest on the JJ Redick podcast. "I think the biggest challenge has just been the challenge of rehab," Williamson Williamson said, "Do you know how tough it is for hours, people watching you, how you land, how you bend when you do this motion over and over? Make sure this knee doesn't cave in. Make sure it stays out. Make sure it's above the third toe. Make sure you're standing straight. Land like this. Even when I'm out on the court, it's still the same thing." The VP of Basketball Operations, David Griffin, had a plan throughout the process. There were strict guidelines, and at this point, it looks like Griffin's plan worked wonders. The team had already invested in a large upgrade of its practice facility, and were able to claim a top-rated professional in the player health department. "I feel like the whole vibe, the whole attitude in the facility, and with the staff has just been different," point guard Drew Holiday told ESPN. "It definitely feels like people are ready and excited. It's been like that ever since Griff has come into this place." Anyway, there has been a lot of caution with Williamson. Many felt like there wasn't much caution with Blake Griffin. If Williamson faces chronic knee issues, the Blake Griffin comparison might not be a good one. Let's be real, if Griffin were healthy for his entire career, he could have been a top 5 player in the game. Griffin is so talented. When you ask executives about Zion's knee, Griffin is their reference point. Griffin sprained his MCL in his left knee in 2008, tore a meniscus in his right knee in 2008, broke his kneecap in his left knee in 2010, tore a meniscus in his left knee in 2012, had to get a surgical cleanup in his right knee in 2016, sprained his MCL in his left knee in 2017, tore another meniscus in his left knee in 2019, and had a season-ending surgery to remove a torn meniscus in his left knee. The challenge will be to prevent this from happening to Zion. Griffin was a high-flying monster, but as the knee surgeries built up, Griffin had to build up his three-point shooting. That'll be what Zion must do to maintain health in the league and stay durable. The Zion we saw on opening day or even in his first 10 games was phenomenal, but questions will always remain if he'll be able to keep it up. Zion looks best when facilitating on offense. The one thing that can't be taught is his passion and toughness. On the offensive end, we've seen Zion work extremely hard on the boards, looking for second opportunities if they come. In his opening night, when Zion was being forced to shoot threes, he nailed all 4 of his attempts. That's going to help Zion dominate in the league. If he can do that consistently, forget it. That's how Blake continues to be successful in this league too. We don't get high-flying Blake anymore, but we can only hope we'll get high-flying Zion for a much longer period before his knees give out. Doc Rivers. Before playing for the Pistons, Blake Griffin played for Doc Rivers on the Los Angeles Clippers. Rivers said the Clippers were just behind in the sports science and training staff in 2017. He noted that former owner Donald Sterling would only pay for 1 trainer and 1 physical therapist. The Pelicans have 9 on staff currently. Rivers was asked if he thought Blake Griffin's long line of leg injuries could have been prevented if the franchise had invested real dollars in player health. He stammered for a while. With Blake, you never know. I don't know. I actually think I think Blake's was probably, I always say that if you miss games, and he missed some with his broken hand, then when you come back, everything falls apart next. He had what we call one of those years, and there was nothing you could do about it. Then Rivers questioned, but you still wonder, would we have been ready to do it? Zion is ready though. Other executives. Executives around the league have been surprised with how the Pelicans attempted to heal the number 1 pick. Right away, the Pelicans shut Williamson down for the entire Vegas Summer League with a bruised knee after just 9 minutes of action. Yes, in 9 minutes, Zion had highlights that made SportsCenter's top plays. After the meniscus tear, the official 6 to 8 week timetable turned into 3 months away from the game. Then when he finally returned, the team wouldn't allow Zion to play in back-to-back games. David Griffin continues to tell people that he had never seen anything like Zion, who is 6'6" and 285 pounds. Griffin claimed that Zion has more lateral quickness than any point guard that he's employed. Players like Kyrie Irving, Steve Nash, Stephon Marbury, and Jason Kidd. Griffin still stands by that notion. When asked to clarify, he said, "Without a doubt." It's just another basketball league. Check out these stats that Zion Williamson is putting up in the NBA. These stats are via SB Nation. His 31.9 rebound, 5 assists in 28 minutes was the first 35-5 game by a rookie who played less than 30 minutes since 1966. He also became the 5th rookie in the last 10 years to have 30 points in one of his first 10 games. He's the quickest number 1 pick to do it since Allen Iverson. He's the first rookie ever with 8 20-point games in his first 10 appearances. The next 2 best, Grant Hill and Shaquille O'Neal, with 7. He's the 4th teenager ever with back-to-back 30-point games. It's just another basketball league for Zion. Remember, he's still just 19 years old and played less than 500 minutes in his NBA career. But you wouldn't know that if you were just tuning in. His turnover rate is somewhat high, and his 3-point rate has dropped. He's not the best foul shooter, and he's less aggressive defensively. Yet he's still putting up numbers as a rookie that we've never seen before. He'll ultimately improve on the things he needs to. Zion is coming off an injury and still putting up these numbers. What will he be like once he's coming off a full season with no injuries, and just improvement and progress? Zion is likely not even 100% on the court, and putting up numbers we've never seen a rookie put up. Plus, each year, the league gets tougher as technology enhances. Players are stronger and much more prepared to be in the league. The fact that he was a point guard until 9th grade is pretty astonishing. Zion's facilitating and ability to handle the ball is due to his time playing point guard as a freshman in high school. That growth spurt made him a freak of nature. Zion will need more reps to establish his jump shooting, but we've already seen his potential when he's dared to shoot it. He's also got excellent lateral movement, and nobody can overpower him on the offensive end. He's just an explosive athlete that the NBA has never seen before. Plus, it seems like his teammates love being around him, and that he's an actual genuine person. Compare Zion to LeBron coming into the league. LeBron, who was also better than anyone could have imagined, proclaimed himself the king before playing a single game in the NBA. Zion has been quiet and just enjoying life in the NBA. He's self-proclaimed nothing. He's just Zion. He'll let everyone else decide his legacy. People are going to like that moving forward. Just like LeBron, Zion is a generational talent. Zion has the chance to take over the league once LeBron retires from the league. This could be Zion's league soon, and it's crazy to think about. We're talking about a kid that's 19 years old, who's destroying grown men in the game. Who would have thought? Let's just hope that he can stay healthy, durable, and play a long career. He deserves it, and the fans deserve it.